Hi beautiful people, welcome to my channel. I'm Kate from Pixie Designs and today is the 2nd of April and the letter is B for the ABC April 2025 collaboration with Margreth from Seven Plaza and Toni from Crafty by Toni. So today is the letter B because it corresponds with the second letter in the second day of April. So a new letter for each day. You can download these from free on our Kofi sites. You just go in there and they're freebies. And so there's some ideas here, but you don't in any way have to stick to what's on here. As long as what you make, if you want to use the hashtag, corresponds to the letter for the day of the month. So like I said, it's B, and we've got lots of ideas here. I've added brown paper, and I actually did a video all about using brown paper, so I will link that now. So if you want to have a look at that one instead of this one, you can, or you can look at it afterwards. So what belly band, button, banners, bingo card, boho, and binding. So I also have a video where I created boho beads from a year or two back, so I will also link that, because if I tried to repeat that I'd have to watch the video myself to remember how I did it. I haven't really made any since, but they turned out really beautiful. And so yeah, so boho beads. So today I'm doing beads. I'm going to do some bead dangles. I love making these. I'm not an expert, but I do love them, and they do really look beautiful decorating a journal. So you can see here, this dangle here is not a bead dangle. This is just a charm on a jump ring attached with a bulb pin. Here I have made a bead dangle with some beads and a piece of wire, and it's on a jump ring, and then the jump ring's attached to the bulb pin. And then you can pin it to ruffles. You can pin these to tags. Here's another one down here that I've made. Again, the same thing with the wire. Some of my wire work needs practice, and it's not something that I make all the time, so every time it takes me a while to get back into it. So I've just made this one as a little practice, and again, so you can see the curved wire at the top. It's not perfect, but it certainly does the job. I haven't put a jump ring on that one. So my beads, I don't have heaps and heaps of beads. The beads that I do have are primarily glass. So if I see a piece of jewellery that's mainly made up of glass beads at the thrift store or op shop, I will purchase it, and I will pop it into here. So yeah, I had a lot more, but I have used quite a lot. I've got some wooden ones here, and I think I bought these when I was doing the boho journal, but never ended up using them. So yeah, some of this is just jewellery that I've taken apart, and some of it is beads that I've purchased maybe from a craft store, but mostly it's from op shops. And that's the same with my jump rings as well. A lot of my jump rings I found in op shops, or they're taken off old things, and some of them are bought in a craft store. These little sort of spacer things, these were, again, they were just a big lot of things that I can't even remember now where I got them, but I know they weren't purchased new. They were just something I acquired or bought at a thrift store. So keep an eye out for things in the thrift store that you could use to make pretty dangles to attach to your pages or to tags or envelopes or anything. These I did buy new. These are those wire things that have got a sort of stopper on the end, so you can put your first bead on. Alternatively, if you don't have those but you just do have some wire, you can cut a length of wire and you can put you can make a circle with it, a ring. This is quite thin, this wire, because it wasn't really bought for this purpose, but so you can put that at the end, and that will stop any beads coming off, and use that instead if that's something that you've already got. So I thought I'd make a few with you. I have an ocean journal that I am creating at the moment, and I have made this tassel for it. And I've made several, on this dangle, I've made several little bead dangles that I've attached in lots of blues and greens, and they're lovely and sparkly, and I love those. So I'm going to make one now, hopefully. How is everybody? I hope you're all well. Hope you're keeping well. We're well. And just watching the mornings get darker and the evenings go dark much earlier than before. So yeah, autumn's well on its way. I just actually wanted to say a set of tools is good. I bought just a cheap set of jewellery making tools. So some round nosed pliers. These are like pliers that cut wire, and I use them on all sorts of things, and these are just some other pliers, so they're good for holding things. So yeah, a set of those is good. Again, if you see them in a thrift store, pick them up, because yeah, it's good to get things cheap. So I'm using one of these wire things with the thing on the end, the sort of platform on the end, and the first thing I'm going to put down is one of these little, I don't know what any of these things are called either, because I'm not a jewellery maker. One of these little cup things just to hold the first bead, and that will sit nicely down at the bottom. I think I put that in the wrong hole there. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, and then I'm going to put, how did I have this? I think I'm going to put my first bead, this lovely bluish bead. I don't know why that's not sitting down on there. And then I think I had this sort of silver spacer next. I'm just wondering where the shell was. I think that was at the top. And then a pearl. And then this little tiny spacer. I love those little, they're really cute, those ones. I don't think I've got many of those left either. And then this bead here, this bead, this is actually plastic. I don't often use plastic beads, but it's in the shape of a shell. My sister Jo gave me that. I think I've got two. So I'm going to use that. And I'm just deciding whether I want the shell at the top or whether the shell should be at the bottom and the beads above it. So let's just swap it around and see if it looks better the other way around. Oh boy. Oh. Beads running around everywhere. Okay, so let's just try it sort of the other way. Not sure about this way. Let's have a look. I think I do prefer it that way. So this is the bit that I find difficult, and often I don't get it perfect. So, but I get it well enough so that the dangles aren't going to fall off or anything. You get your pliers and you put your wire at a right angle like that. I know that that's the first thing you're supposed to do. What I struggle with next is the winding it around. Now you don't want that much wire because it's too much. And it depends, on one of them I've done that thing where you come around and then you wind the wire around here, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to snip some off, and I don't really know what the rule is, so I'm just making it sort of as wide as my thumb. Watch your eyes because this tends to ping around. Yep, and it did. Then you get your round nose ones and you basically twist back, so back towards the center of where you've done the little bend sideways, if that makes sense. Yeah, so let's just try it and see how we get on. So as you can see, that looks like a mess, so I'm going to see if I can fix it. And I'm sure there's people out there who know how to do this way better than I do. But I'm just showing you that you don't have to be amazing at everything to make something pretty. So Yeah, so I haven't quite got that right. And that seems to be what happens to me. I'm sure there'll be someone who will give me some instructions on how to do this properly. But anyway, I'm going to just twist that round like that. And so then I've got that round thing at the top. It's not perfect, I know, but that's okay. And I'm going to get a little jump ring for this one. I'm just trying to get I want one of those little wee silver ones. I might use this one, it's sort of a medium size. So your jump rings are these little things that split. And so you just hold it, and you always split them sideways. You don't split them open, because then you can never get them closed properly. I do know that much. And then I'm going to slip that through and close it back up. Ooh, am I? Yep. So that's nicely closed there. And then you can pop that onto, a jump ring, onto a bulb pin or just a normal safety pin, and then you can attach it to something in your journal. So maybe you've got a tab like I have here, and you just pop your pin through, and there it is. And I think that looks really, really pretty. Obviously it's going in a more of an ocean themed journal because it's got the blue shell on it, but I like it. And yeah, you don't have to put it on a journal. It can go on a tag, like I said, or an envelope, or anything really. You can attach it to whatever you would like. I've had a little bit of trouble with my camera switching off and having to restart. So I'm just going to try and leave off where, go from where we left off. So I've got these wire things, which I'm pretty sure I showed you, and then I'm going to just thread some beads onto it. Hopefully I'm going to be able to sort of connect this video all up so that it becomes some kind of sort of sensible flow to it. But anyway, I'm putting the beads on these wire things. I think the conclusion I've come to is my wire things, just for a heads up, are a bit heavy. They're hard to manipulate. I think I would be better off with a lesser gauge, would it be, wire? So a lighter wire. But anyway, let's give it a go and we'll see how we go, because this is what I've got, and so this is what I'm going to use. So you've got your beads on, and then you place your round nose pliers about a few mil above that top bead, and you bend it to a right angle that way, like that. Then you bring the wire up and over, you reposition them, and you bring the wire down and around and past the beads. Now this is where I think everything's a bit heavy, because I can't really get my wire to get tight around my pliers. But anyway, I'm going to keep going. You then get your sort of a flat plier or normal pliers, and you hold on to the ring that you've made, and you wind this wire here around there a couple of times, and then you slip it off. And then you kind of have to squeeze it to tuck it in and away, because you don't want it poking out and bothering you. So there we go. Now that's different to the ones I showed you that I've already done. This is a different way of doing them. I think it's a bit neater maybe. my circles aren't perfect, and again, it's like anything. If you don't do it all the time, you're not really going to get amazing at it. But I'm not overly upset with that one. It's not perfect, but it's not totally awful. So then you get a jump ring, and these are the rings that you just open sideways like this. So you just open it out like that, and you pop it through the loop that you've made at the top, and then you close it up. Probably should use, this is quite a big one. I'd probably normally use much smaller one. Or you can just put this straight onto your safety pin or your bulb pin, whatever you're using. Oh, I hope I'm... So you could just put your safety pin straight through here. You can stitch this onto something. You can hang it on a tag or on the side of a page. So that's that one. Okay, let's try another one. I've got this one here. So I've put my little cap thing down, and I think I want the biggest, I want the clear bead, and then the sparkly one, and then this pearl. I thought I had another little spacer for that one. Let's have a look to see. I would quite like another little spacer if I can find one. I'm just going to have a look in this little tray here. Just one of those really tiny ones. Yeah, this one. It's really tiny, and just pop that between there and there. I think that's how I want it. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to give it a go. The thing is, if it doesn't work, you can cut the wire, take the beads off, which is a shame. Oh, there it is there. That's the one I was looking for. But, okay, so let's see if we can do a better job. So, position your round nose pliers. It says about 2 mil, but that seems really close to me. But I'll try and get a bit closer and see if that makes a difference. There we go. So that's as far as I can go. And then I'm going to bring this wire over the top of that round nose plier and try and pull it as tight as I can this time, and then reposition them and bring the wire right round and through to there. I've still got this little funny kink here, which I don't think you're meant to have, but anyway, there we go. So then you've got your beads this way and your wire coming around this way. Hold your loop. Whoop. And then whoop, bend this, wrap this wire around that stalk. And I find this is the bit, yeah, like I said before, is hard, but I can't seem to get my wire tight around there. So I'm just going to cut it off as close as I can get. And then I'm going to squish it in. I feel like I would like that to be... I'd like to cut that closer if I can. And then I'm just going to try and squish it in. It's all over the place. So yeah, maybe another pair of these would be good, but this is what I've got. So this is what I'm using. Let's see if I can... Nope, that didn't work. So it's just this little bit of wire here that's poking out that I want to try and get rid of. So it's not... There we go, I got it. Just be patient. There we go. And it actually looks quite good. So that's another one. So we've made this little pink one, and we've made this little blue one, and I think I'm getting better. I'm going to try this one. I feel like this wire is much softer. Let's see if we have better luck with this one. So my little cup thing, and then this big bead, though I'm wondering if this is too many beads. Too many beads for this wire. This wire's not as long. Let's have a look. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be enough. So we could do a much smaller one, but I don't love that as much. What could we put in between? I've got this. I mean, we could just make a really small one, I guess. Let's just do that. I'm going to give it a go. You got to try these things. Got to be in to win. Okay, so I'm going to bend my wire that way. I don't think my right angles are very good. See how that's kind of curved that way? Anyway. So I've made my rectangle-ish there. So right angle, I mean, not rectangle. And then I'm going to bring this wire over the top. Whoa. And then I'm going to reposition these and bring my wire right round. Let's see. And then I've got my loop. So the beads are going that way and your wire's going that way, and then you do a windy thing around. Ooh. But yeah, this one. Okay, and then I'm going to cut that. My loop's gone a bit wonky. I'm going to trim that down if I can. And then I'm going to squish that end in again. Yep. Yeah, that one hasn't. That one looks a bit funny. Oh dear. And I only have really little gold jump rings, but I'm going to get one out and we'll put it in and we'll just, I don't know, it'll give us an idea anyway. Sometimes I wonder why I do these things on camera. I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be. So there we go. Yeah, that one's a bit cattywampus to say the least. And we've got a gold bulb pin here that we can pop it on to have a look. I mean, it's super sparkly and pretty. So we've got 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do one more, even though, oh, what I wanted to show you was, you know, you can just, this is obviously off an old necklace that I've partially taken apart. But that's an already made dangle. It doesn't need anything else. For argument's sake, let's just pop this one on it. Oof, nearly lost it. Pop that on. And there, you already have a dangle without all the heartache. So it's just a piece of jewellery that's been taken apart, and maybe you could put it on a black or a, I don't know, a different sort of jump ring, or sew it onto something like I said before. So yeah, you've already got one. That's a really cool bead actually. So that's just an idea if you've got a necklace. And so here's another one, another dangle, and it's even got the jump ring on it. So all that needs is a safety pin. So that's a really good way of doing it if you haven't got the tools, is just taking a necklace apart, and there is a dangle right there without all of this carry on. However, I am going to make this last one that I got ready because I'm not a quitter. So there, thread on the white bead and the sparkly spacer and this gorgeous sparkly blue, and then the little wee spacer, which I love those ones. They seem tiny, but they do actually make a difference, I think. And then this really lovely sparkly bead at the top. And I'm going to give it one more go. This is going to be the last one, and hopefully I'll be able to edit this video so that it actually can be put up. So yeah, I really am struggling with my right angle. So let me just have a little fiddle here and see if we can get that better. Okay, I think that is better. Okay, then I'm going to hold it and bring my wire over. See, it does move. I think that's my problem. I might not have the best of tools. That's the other thing. These weren't expensive. So I'm going to bring this down, right down, as far as I can go. Reposition these and then bring it, the wire, right around past the beads. There. Like that. So that's kind of what it looks like. Swap over and see if I can get this wrapped a bit better, because it's my wrapping that seems to be problematic. Haven't left much room on this one, so I'm going to cut that off there. Let's see if I can tuck it in. Hopefully when I play this back and I look, I haven't been out of, you know, screen, out of camera range the whole time. That would be so disappointing. Oh boy. Oh well. I've got lots of bead dangles now that I can use in my journal, so I will have to make sure I do that. Or send someone in Happy Mail. I'm just making up some wallpaper packs at the moment to send out to a few of the Kiwi ladies. There we go. All right. That was my feeble attempt at making bead dangles. So B for bead dangles. I wonder if I could put them on something that would present them a little bit better. Have I got maybe some white? Maybe the back of this white paper would make them look a bit nicer. So yeah, I guess they're a little bit rough, aren't they? But they're not, I think they're actually quite good. I think that system is good that I showed you. I just need to get better at it. And I think maybe some softer wire, some less heavy wire would help. But I would still use these on my journal. I will be using these. That one there will be definitely going on my ocean journal. So there we go. April the 2nd, B for bead dangles or beads. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you've enjoyed that. I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you again soon in the next video. Bye.